Alright, you guys. So parts 1 and 2 of Project Mouse's video was not my best editing. It was kind of rushed. I was running out of room on my phone, and I apologize for that. We're going to redo the paint job on Project Mouse. I went ahead and picked up a spray gun, pressure regulator, and even a water set, like a water filters to keep water going through the spray gun, all from Harbor Freight. We picked up some Rust-Oleum paint, same color that I was using, but in a quart can, and it's gonna mix that with some acetone to thin it down, and we're gonna respray the Jeep. The spray can job wasn't horrible. It just had some tiger striping, and I wasn't exactly happy with it. So that being said, I want to try to see if I can make it better. I know it's not gonna be perfect. It's a daily driven vehicle, and it's being spray painted at home in my garage with, cheap tools, cheap paint. So as long as it keeps the rust off, we'll be happy, and we'll go from there. Alright, you guys, I'm using a Harbor Freight air gun, high volume, low pressure. Picked up a regulator. Even though my air compressor has one, I want to make sure I keep the PSI down around 20 PSI. And I've even got a filter to put in line to help clean the air of any impurities before hitting the spray gun. And then this is the paint we're using. Same color. Just not in an aerosol can. I talked to a guy who painted his Jeep a similar color, and he told me to do a 2-to-1 mixture, 2 parts paint, 1 part acetone. So we'll be pre-mixing that. And then here's Project Mouse. She's kind of dirty, she's been driven, so we're gonna have to wash it. Make sure when you're in this type of stage, you want to wash it using like a Dawn lit dish soap instead of a car soap, because using an automotive based soap will add wax, and you don't want wax on your paint job before you try to sand it or spray it. Coming up as far as the body's concerned, this back trim piece here broke, so that's what functions my third brake light. You guys can see my lovely hanging job. I'm going to go ahead and replace that with some LED lights. We're going to just reuse these 2 holes and just use some LED bolt lights, and that should work perfectly for my taillights. You guys can still see I got to sand the bumpers. They're going to be flat black initially, and then we're going to put a matte clear on them. I picked up some window visors that will be going on this. Not sure if I'm going to leave them tinted or I'm going to paint them to match. And then we've got to finish up the grill. It's been painted, and that'll come later on in the video, but we need to clear coat it along with finishing sanding the bumper and priming the bumper. And you guys can see where the header panels broke in places like this, here, and here, and here. And these little plastic nuts keep free spinning inside the header panel, so we're going to use some 2-part epoxy and try to glue them in place. And yes, before I get chastised, I know my turn signals are upside down. I threw them in late one night just to get to work, and I never fixed them because I figured they'll get fixed when we paint the Jeep. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pause for a little while, y'all, wash it, and get back to you guys. So Project Mouse had a broke grill and broken headlight bezels. I have new ones that we're going to be painting. I went ahead and used some of this Rust-Oleum primer. It says it bonds to anything pretty much. Use a metal fiberglass and more. We'll see how that works. I'm going to do the grill and the bezels a purple color, kind of hard to tell in this light. And then we're going to clear them with a matte clear, so it matches the bumper's matte black finish. So here's what the headlight bezels are going to look like. This is just one of them. I know it's glossy now. I still got to put a clear coat on it, but this was a coat of primer and then 2 coats of color The coverage is pretty decent. It's pretty smooth. So we'll get some clear on it, let it dry, and I'll be back with you guys. Here's the purple, the bezel. You guys can tell how much that matte did to it. I think it's going to turn out pretty good with the gray color of the Jeep. So now we're going to have to do the other bezel and do the grille. Okay, pardon the mess in the garage, y'all. Here we have the grill staying up on end. We start on the back side so we can get a little more coverage sprayed through the grill slots. I'm going to let it sit a few, and then I'm going to flip it and do the other side, and then let that sit a few minutes, and then turn around and spray the front. And you guys will be able to see the color. Alright you guys, so here's the grill. We primed it. 2 thin coats of primer to cover the black. 2 coats of purple to get an even coat of purple across the grill. And then 2 coats of clear matte. Now I'm going to let this sit out in the sun for a little while. Kind of bake, if you will. Plan was to wash and paint the Jeep today, but I'm going to add that on another day. I'm not going to be able to get to it. Ran into a snag, missing a fitting I need for my air gun or my spray gun, and don't feel like going to the store today. Okay, like I said, y'all, a little bit of Dawn soap. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. Kind of just mix it in the bucket before you give it a bath. And we're just gonna hand wash the whole Jeep and give it kind of a quick bath, get all the dirt off it, road grime, clean it up pretty good. Then we're gonna scotch fit, and don't mind old Fred here, he's gonna be removed once we actually get to painting it. We'll scuff it with Scotch-Brite pad, and then we'll rinse it one more time and start masking and prepping to do the actual paint. Alright y'all, so apologize for the background. We have a school being built near the house, so after talking with a friend, decided on some 3M Scotch-Brite pads instead of like actually using sandpaper, because this will be less aggressive. So it'll be good enough to scuff the paint without actually taking it down severely. So you just kind of just use your hand to feel the body lines. You don't want to dig into the paint. You kind of just want to rough it up. And old Fred here, he's just in my way. It's Halloween time and my boys wanted to put a skeleton on the Jeep. So, like I said, we're going to scuff it. And just follow the body lines. We're going to be removing the marker lights, the turn signals. Going to mask over the headlights, mask over the mirrors, mask over, just basically mask everything up that I can't detach quickly in a hurry. Taillights will come off. Obviously the license plate, 3rd brake light, get the windows masked, and then we're going to go ahead and get it ready for paint. Hopefully this turns out better than the spray paint, but only time will tell. You guys can see just a light scuffing, not enough to leave gouges in the paint. Hopefully you guys can see this on camera, but at least just a layer of scuff enough to rough up the paint so the new paint will adhere properly. And like I said, just gently use your hand to guide it over the curves of the tailgate and the body lines. My uncle once said about body work is your hands are one of your best tools. just because your sense of touch. So if you see any imperfections in the paint, you might be able to use the Scotch-Brite pad to go ahead and smooth it out a little bit. Let's see, for example, there was a run in the paint, and I was going to scuff it and sand it down. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, you guys can just take that line. Oh, right here. I mean, I can use a more aggressive sandpaper, but it's not really needed. You can see right there, it's starting to fade out. So, just take it down slowly. You don't want to dig into the paint. That's a run caused by the spray paint. So, I'm going to go ahead and scuff this up. Got a lot of body to scuff. We'll go and scuff it down, mask it, and I'll come back to you guys. So we got the Jeep masked, wiped down with the tack cloth. Coming over here, we got our paint mixed, 2-to-1 mixture. 1 part acetone, 2 parts paint. We're gonna get ready to fire the spray gun. I'm probably gonna start on the roof, work my way down. We'll go from there. Big shout out to my buddy Shane, getting all those hard to reach places for my short arms. God bless tall friends. Hey Shane, what did we set the PSI to? 40?
It's a hit and miss. You just really got to play with it. Could be different per gun. Plus we're fighting the wind, so we kind of got to really blast it on there. Switch sides.
Sometimes you guys might want to make a stand if you're spraying a Jeep or something larger. Because being tall with long arms only gets you so far.
Want to walk it, see if there's anything we missed?
Alright y'all, so here's Project Mouse. Gotten a little windy since we painted it. As my buddy Shane said, we did a 2-to-1 mix. Two parts paint, 1 part acetone, and I don't know, we're gonna clear it. We're gonna see how this dries in the morning. If I can find a clear for the spray gun, I will. I don't want to use spray paint like I originally had because it just won't come out right. Okay, so originally I was going to use some Rust-Oleum gloss clear coat, but after talking with my friend Shane, I realized the spray can clear coat's going to give me the same streak effect as the issues I was having before. So talking to the guy I originally learned about the Rust-Oleum paint from in a quart can. He said this is what he used for clear. So I picked up 2 quarts. We're gonna remask the windshield. So I had to cut a hole in it so I could drive it in the garage last night. We're gonna reassemble our paint gun because you guys want to make sure you clean the paint gun after every use. And then we're gonna start spraying this. You guys can get a better idea of how much cleaner the spray gun worked over the rattle cans. And I know I showed you guys yesterday, but this is after about 10 hours of dry time. I'm gonna have to eventually get some new bulbs, but so let me get to reassembling my gun, fire up my compressor, and we're gonna spray some clear. Alright y'all, so hard to see, but you guys got my air gun here. Little mesh strainer. Duplicolor recommends that you strain it. Normally I would think I'd want to put this into like a quart cup like I was using to mix my paint yesterday, but I ran out of cups and I don't feel like going to Lowe's. And sorry y'all are staring at my legs, but this is, now they make gun holders. I found out my little step ladder works perfect when it's got the hose attached. So the trick will be doing this without making a mess. If I spill some, at least I've got a tarp or some wood on the ground. And basically, the whole thing, the reason for straining is catch any impurities from going into your clear coat. I'm not expecting a pristine paint job with this Jeep, but I wanted to look at least halfway decent. So make sure to cover your clear coat once you're done pouring it. Couple tabs to keep the lid on it. Now, your paint cups do have caps on them. And like I said, I apologize for the leg view, but don't want to fill it full because as you guys get used to spraying these, like I was taught yesterday, it will spill out the top. So we'll go ahead and put our cap on it, and we're going to do a couple test passes on a piece of cardboard, make sure we get our fan right, and then we're going to go from there. Alright everybody, so after spraying, you want to make sure you clean your gun. Put some acetone in a bucket. Take out your needle. Take out the spring, the adjustment screw, the nozzle tip, and all the corresponding pieces. Clean them out real good. I put some acetone in a bucket, let it sit for a little while, and I'll wipe it down real well with a cloth. spray gun is pretty much gutted. I don't know if you guys can see that well. But what I do is take a wire brush that like the cleaning brush that came with it, dip that in acetone, scrub it out, and then I'll run that through some Dawn soap. And I just took the fittings off, so I didn't have all that going into the house. Hot water Dawn soap, wash it out real good, wipe it down real good. And then when you reassemble it, it wouldn't hurt to spray a little bit of acetone through it before your next paint job. Okay, so 2 coats of clear, which is about 2 quarts, maybe more, like 1.5. For me, because I'm short, I struggle with the roof. You guys saw that in the video. My buddy Shane was able to spray a lot easier with his long arms. But let me slow down and I'll walk you guys over it. Now if you do 2 coats to 3 coats of clear, it allows you a little more room to wet sand. And I apologize for the background noise. We're having a school built near us. I think it turned out 10 times better than the spray paint. I don't see any tiger streaks. Now, doing it this way, 15-20 bucks for the spray gun, not counting the masking tape. And then you count about 20 bucks for the color. The clear was $30 a quart, which is where the expensive part comes in, but 2 quarts of clear, 60 bucks. So that's 80. Plus the gun was 100. And then some acetone, which is about 10 bucks. So you could do it this way for about 120 bucks. And don't worry about the bumpers. Once this paint cures in a couple days, we're gonna mask the front end off a little better. And then we're going to scruff the bumpers, and then spray them flat black. So there you guys go. We're getting there. I'll finish this video with the bumpers, the headlight assembly, or the grill assembly, and I'm going to show you guys. We're going to epoxy some plastic nutserts or screw certs here, so we can secure the grill instead of having to replace the whole header panel. So to prevent overspray, make sure you guys mask off everything you don't want painted. I laid a 2-inch piece of tape behind the paper. We're going to spray this bumper flat black with 2 coats and then clear it with a matte black with 2 coats. And that'll give us that matte finish to match the wheels. So first coat of black down. It's okay to see the primer through the black. It's better to have a couple thin coats instead of one heavy thick coat. And my bumper's shot anyways. It's got a little bit of rust on it. I just cleaned it up as best I could. We're eventually going to replace these down the road. So we'll let this sit for a second. We'll get a second coat down and we'll go from there. Here's 2 coats. And I know this is not real time. Allow a few minutes so it tacks up. We're going to let it sit a few. Check it out. If I need a third light coat, we'll do that and then we'll clear it. Ended up doing 3 coats of flat black. Then it's still got a sheen to it, but it's drying. 2 coats of matte clear. I think we're coming along nice. I'm gonna unmask it. We're gonna do the grill repair, or the header panel repair. Start putting a grill on it. And then I'll take you guys to the back, show you that bumper. It's the same process as the front, so matter of fact, let me show you how it looks now. It's got overspray on it from doing the body panel, but we're going to scuff it, paint it black, and then we're going to paint the wiper arms because they're looking ratty. And I'll show you guys what I ended up doing in place of the third brake light. So let me get to going on this, and we'll go from there. So we took our plastic bonder from JB Weld. I prefer toothpicks, because So I want to be really careful with how I apply this. It also dries kind of a tannish. So my goal is just put enough in there. And I'm not even on it, guys, sorry. Put just enough up there so we can bond these to that. And we're gonna see how well that holds. I don't know if it's gonna work. Just like this one. I'll just steal this for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get to setting all these, and then I'll message you, or I'll show you guys the end results. Alright, so I had an issue with all these little plastic pieces spinning. So I took some of the JB plastic bond and just smooshed it in there to kind of hold it. You guys can see I bonded each one of these in. And that's how we're going to hope this holds up. You give it about 15 minutes to cure or to set, and then we're going to put the grill in. Okay, so back of Project Mouse, matte black bumper, and then I went ahead and installed new lights. I broke the plastic trim panel, so went ahead and matte blacked the wiper arm. I know there's a hole here. I'm just gonna get a rubber plug and fill it, and then paint the plug gray to match. So there you guys go. And I'll show you how I soldered those lights in. The license plate lights. Finished side of the Jeep. Matte black bumper, purple grill with a matte clear. Not bad for a driveway paint job, and my first time ever spraying a vehicle. We'll go turn the lights on, see if we can even see them. It might be too bright with the sun out. Just a thought, too bright with the sun out, but you guys can see. Just little LEDs. So, there you guys go. And I know we got some imperfections in the trim, but we're going to cover those with some window guards. Alright, so when I did the LED lights, I'm not a fan of butt connectors, so I soldered them positive to positive, negative to negative, and I reused the factory plug. I like soldering, especially in a Jeep or something that's going to go off-roading, because bouncing crimp connectors come loose. So there you guys can see it, and I'll just tuck it in here nice and clean. So this concludes the paint job on Project Mouse. Lesson learned. I spent maybe $150 on paint, including the spray gun, versus the almost $200 I spent in spray paint for the first messed up paint job. So you guys can do it either way. Some people are really good with spray cans. Turns out I wasn't. So, you know, just had to do a bunch of little things here and there to paint the arms. I swapped out the rear license plate lights, and that's because, like I said, my license plate light housing broke, and it was cheaper to put those $7 lights in there versus $50 for a used license plate light fixture. So I know the window looks like crap, but we're going to replace that eventually. That's why there's still duct tape on the shield, or on the rubber seal. And thank you for checking this video out. Hope you all have a good day.